Today we're looking at the lost colony of Roanoke. Hello, welcome to the Daily Bellringer. Please don't forget to subscribe and take a look at the questions down in the description. So, ever since Christopher Columbus made his voyage to the New World in 1492, Europeans had continued to travel across the Atlantic Ocean in search of new resources and economic opportunity. Throughout the mid-1500s, European powers such as the French and the Spanish conducted voyages that mapped out and charted the eastern coast of what would eventually become the United States. But no permanent colony or settlement was established. A colony is just simply a group of people that establish a settlement or community in a place separate from their home country, but still remain tied or under the control of their home country. Sir Walter Raleigh, who was a wealthy English adventurer and was romantically involved with the Queen of England, Elizabeth I, in 1584 asked Elizabeth for permission to establish an English colony in America. Permission was granted to Raleigh, and Raleigh was hoping to gain riches from the land that he acquired in the New World. And, we have to remember that for Europeans, land equaled wealth, and so that's really what they were, after here in the New World. But in April of 1584, Raleigh dispatched two ships to locate and map a suitable location for a new colony. The expedition returned and suggested Roanoke Island, located on the outer banks of present-day North Carolina. They noted that the island itself was 10 miles long, 2.5 miles wide, had fertile soil, thick woods which were filled with game to hunt, and inhabited by friendly Native Americans that would help the colonists. The expedition also brought back rumors of gold further inland, which very much intrigued Sir Walter Raleigh. In April of 1585, Raleigh sent more ships to attempt to begin settlement. In the summer of 1585, 108 soldiers established a fort on Roanoke Island, and the ships then returned to England to get more supplies and settlers to bring back. In the meantime, the soldiers at Roanoke conducted several expeditions and discovered the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay, and they concluded that the colony should be moved there because there was deeper water that would be easier for English ships to dock there. And so by the time the ships returned in June of 1586, the fort at Roanoke had to actually be abandoned because of fighting with Native Americans in the area. Also, a hurricane hit, which forced them to head back to England rather than move up towards the Chesapeake Bay. The explorers returned and reported to Raleigh what they had found, and of course more rumors of gold. And so, determined to get a colony established, Raleigh organized a final expedition in April of 1587. This voyage was commanded by John White, who had been on the two previous trips, and it carried with it 118 men, women, and children. And their goal was to reach the Chesapeake Bay and establish a settlement there. However, they wound up again on Roanoke Island without reaching Chesapeake Bay. The settlers began building, a community there on the island. In the meantime, John White decided to return back to England to get more supplies and settlers, and he actually left his wife and children behind. And upon returning to England, he found that England was involved in a war with Spain and that Queen Elizabeth was requiring that all ships be used in the fight. And so White was unable to return to Roanoke Island for 3 years. The English did eventually defeat the Spanish Armada, which really opened the way for further exploration by English ships in the New World. White returned to the island in 1590 only to find that the colony had completely disappeared. Then this, of course, has given rise to one of the greatest mysteries in American history. What happened to the colony on Roanoke Island? The only clue White and the other explorers could find was carved in trees around where the settlement was. The word Croatoan and the letters C-R-O were found. This suggested to White that the settlers had moved to Croatoan Island, which was 50 miles south of Roanoke. White attempted to reach the island, but a storm drove him out to sea, and he was unable to get there, and he actually then just returned to England. From there, Raleigh basically formed no more expeditions, and in fact, Raleigh himself was put to death for treason against King James I in 1618. Now, many theories have emerged through the years as to what happened to the Roanoke colony. One theory suggests that part of the colony did move to Croatoan Island, while another part moved further north to the Chesapeake Bay area. Another theory is that the people integrated with the Native Americans and simply became part of their community and moved further inland. While another theory suggests that they might have been attacked and wiped out by Native American tribes in the area before they even attempted to leave Roanoke Island. Another idea suggests that they possibly attempted to build ships and return to England, but sank somewhere along the journey. Still, another theory argues that they did move north towards the Chesapeake Bay area, but were likely killed in 1607 when Jamestown was established and the Powhatan tribe were threatened by those settlers. It may be a mystery that will never ever be solved, but it does demonstrate how dangerous establishing colonies in the New World was and how it would take a long time for English colonies to really become permanent. But still to this day, there's research and archaeological, teams that are finding new evidence and searching for an answer to this big mystery. But what do you think? What happened to the colony on Roanoke Island? So with that, hopefully you learned something, and thanks for watching.